Maya was having one of those days where everything felt like it was falling apart. She'd been stuck in meetings since morning. Her coffee had gone cold 3 times, and now she was running 20 minutes late for her company photo shoot. She rushed through the glass doors of the studio, her heels clicking against the polished floor, completely out of breath. The photography studio was quieter than she expected. Soft music played in the background, and the smell of fresh coffee filled the air. A tall man with kind eyes looked up from adjusting his camera and smiled. "You must be Maya," he said warmly. "Don't worry about the time. We've got all afternoon." His name was Daniel, and there was something about his calm presence that immediately put her at ease. Maya had done professional photos before, but this felt different. Maybe it was the way he spoke to her like a real person instead of just another client, or maybe it was how he seemed genuinely interested in making her comfortable. "Just relax," Daniel said as he positioned the lights. "Forget about the camera. Think about something that makes you happy." Maya tried to think of something, anything, but her mind kept wandering back to how exhausted she felt. Her divorce had been finalized 6 months ago, and she was still trying to figure out who she was without her ex-husband. Work had become her escape, but lately even that felt empty. "You're thinking too hard," Daniel said with a gentle laugh. "I can see it in your eyes." She couldn't help but smile. "Is it that obvious?" "Only to someone who's been there," he replied, adjusting the camera angle. There was something in the way he said it that made Maya look at him differently. This wasn't just small talk. He understood. As the session continued, they fell into an easy conversation. Daniel told her about his journey from corporate photography to opening his own studio. He talked about taking risks and following passion instead of paychecks. "Turn your head slightly to the left," he instructed. "Perfect. Now tell me something. What would you be doing right now if you could do anything in the world?" Maya thought about it. "Honestly, I'd probably be sitting by the ocean somewhere, reading a book, not thinking about quarterly reports or client presentations." "So why aren't you?" Daniel asked, clicking the camera. It was such a simple question, but it hit her hard. Why wasn't she? When had she stopped doing things that made her happy? When had life become just about getting through the day? "I don't know," she admitted quietly. "I guess I forgot how." Daniel lowered his camera and looked at her directly. It's never too late to remember. The way he looked at her made her heart skip. It wasn't flirtatious or inappropriate. It was genuine, like he actually cared about her answer. Maya felt something stir inside her that she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope, maybe, or possibility. As the session continued, Maya found herself relaxing in a way she hadn't in months. Every time Daniel adjusted her pose or moved a light, she felt more aware of his presence. When his hand accidentally brushed against hers while fixing her collar, they both froze for just a second. The touch was brief, innocent, but the energy between them was undeniable. "Sorry," Daniel said quickly, stepping back. "It's okay," Maya replied, her voice barely above a whisper. The rest of the session felt charged with something unspoken. Every glance, every word seemed to carry more weight than it should. Maya told herself she was being ridiculous. This was just a professional photo shoot. Daniel was just doing his job. But deep down, she knew this was different. When the session finally ended, Maya felt reluctant to leave. She gathered her things slowly, checking her phone, straightening her jacket, anything to extend the moment just a little longer. "These should be ready in about a week," Daniel said, reviewing the shots on his computer. "You photographed beautifully, by the way." "Very natural." "Thank you," Maya said. "You made it easy." There was a pause, one of those moments where the air feels thick with possibility. Daniel opened his mouth to say something, then seemed to change his mind. Maya watched him struggle with whatever was on his mind. "Look," he finally said, running a hand through his hair. "I don't usually do this. Actually, I never do this. But would you maybe want to grab dinner sometime? Just to talk, I mean. No pressure." Maya's first instinct was to say no. She had rules about this sort of thing. Don't mix business with personal life. Don't rush into anything. Protect yourself. But as she looked at Daniel's hopeful expression, she felt those walls she'd built starting to crack. "I'd like that," she heard herself say. The smile that spread across Daniel's face was worth the risk. They exchanged numbers, and Maya left the studio feeling lighter than she had in months. As she walked to her car, she couldn't stop smiling. Something had shifted today. She wasn't sure what it meant or where it would lead, but for the first time in a long time she felt excited about the unknown. That evening, Maya couldn't focus on work. Her mind kept drifting back to the studio, to Daniel's kind eyes and easy smile. She kept looking at her phone, wondering if he'd text, then telling herself not to be silly. But when her phone finally buzzed with a message from an unknown number, her heart raced. "Hey, it's Daniel. I know I said no pressure, but I can't stop thinking about dinner. How's Friday?" Maya stared at the message for a long moment. This was it. She could play it safe, make an excuse, keep her heart protected. Or she could take a chance on something real. Her finger hovered over the screen before she finally typed back. "Friday works. I'm looking forward to it." She hit send before she could change her mind. Whatever was about to happen, she was ready to find out. Friday came faster than Maya expected. She changed her outfit 4 times, trying to find something that looked nice but not like she was trying too hard. Her best friend Rachel had called earlier, excited and nervous for her. "Just have fun," Rachel had said. "You deserve this." Maya kept repeating those words to herself as she drove to the restaurant Daniel had suggested. It was a small Italian place tucked away in a quiet neighborhood, the kind of spot you'd only know about if you lived nearby. Soft lighting glowed through the windows, and she could hear jazz music playing as she approached. Daniel was already waiting outside, looking slightly nervous himself. He'd traded his casual studio clothes for a button-down shirt, and Maya noticed he'd gotten a haircut. The thought that he'd made an effort too calmed her nerves a bit. "You look beautiful," he said as she walked up. "Thanks. You clean up pretty well yourself," Maya replied with a smile. Inside, the restaurant was cozy and intimate. They were seated at a corner table with a flickering candle between them. At first, the conversation felt a little awkward, both of them trying too hard. But once they ordered wine and appetizers, things began to flow more naturally. Daniel told her about growing up in a small town, how he'd always loved capturing moments through a camera lens. "My dad thought it was a waste of time," he said. "He wanted me to be an engineer or a lawyer, something practical. But I couldn't see myself doing anything else." "Do you regret it?" Maya asked. "Not for a second," Daniel said firmly. "Even when things got hard. Even when—" He paused, his expression darkening slightly. "Even after I lost my wife." Maya felt her chest tighten. "I'm so sorry. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to." "No, it's okay," Daniel said, taking a sip of wine. "It's been 2 years. Car accident. 1 minute everything was normal, and the next my whole world just stopped. For a long time I couldn't pick up a camera. Couldn't see beauty in anything. Photography felt meaningless without her to share it with." Maya reached across the table and gently touched his hand. "What changed?" "Time, I guess. And realizing that she wouldn't want me to stop living. She loved my work, loved seeing me passionate about something. Slowly I started shooting again. Small things at first. A sunrise. Rain on windows. And eventually I found my way back." Maya felt tears prickling her eyes. "That's incredibly brave. What about you?" Daniel asked softly. "I can see you're carrying something too." Maya took a deep breath. She hadn't planned to get this personal so quickly. But something about Daniel made her want to open up. "Divorce. It was finalized 6 months ago, but honestly the marriage had been over long before that. My ex and I just grew apart. Or maybe we were never really together in the way that mattered. He wanted someone who would fit into his perfect life plan, and I wanted someone who actually saw me." "Did he hurt you?" Daniel asked carefully. "Not physically," Maya said, "but emotionally." "Yes. Constantly being told you're not enough, that you're too much, that you need to change everything about yourself. It chips away at you. By the time I left, I didn't even recognize myself anymore." Daniel squeezed her hand. "I see you." Those 3 simple words hit Maya harder than any grand declaration could have. She felt something crack open inside her, all the emotions she'd been holding back for months suddenly rushing to the surface. They talked for hours, the restaurant emptying around them until they were the last table left. The waiter politely brought the check and they realized it was past midnight. Outside it had started to rain, a soft drizzle that made the streetlights glow like halos. "I don't want this night to end," Daniel admitted as they stood under the restaurant awning. "Me neither," Maya said. "My studio is just a few blocks away. I live upstairs. Would you want to come see some of my work? Maybe have some coffee?" Maya knew what this was. She wasn't naive, but she also knew she trusted him, and more importantly, she trusted herself. "I'd love to." They walked through the rain, sharing Daniel's jacket, laughing as they splashed through puddles. His studio was in an old converted warehouse full of character and warmth. The downstairs was his workspace, but upstairs was his home, a loft apartment with exposed brick and large windows overlooking the city. Daniel made coffee while Maya looked at the photographs covering his walls. Each one told a story, captured a feeling. There were landscapes and portraits, moments of joy and quiet sadness. In every image she could see his heart. "These are incredible," Maya said. "Thank you," Daniel replied, handing her a mug. "That means a lot coming from you." They sat on his couch talking more, the conversation flowing from deep to playful and back again. At some point, Maya realized she'd never felt this comfortable with someone, not even her ex-husband. There was no pretense here, no performance. Just two people being genuinely themselves. Daniel reached over and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "Can I kiss you?" Maya's heart was pounding, but she nodded. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, both of them testing the waters. But then something ignited, and suddenly they were pulling each other closer. Months of loneliness and longing pouring into that moment. Daniel's hands moved to her waist and Maya felt herself melting into him. But then, suddenly, fear crashed through her like a wave. This was too fast, too intense. What was she doing? "Please stop," she whispered, pulling back. Daniel immediately froze, his hands dropping to his sides. "Of course. I'm sorry, did I?" "No," Maya said quickly, her breathing uneven. "You didn't do anything wrong. I'm scared." Daniel moved back, giving Maya space, his expression full of concern and understanding. "Hey, it's okay. We don't have to do anything you're not ready for." Maya felt tears streaming down her face, embarrassed and confused by her own reaction. "I'm sorry. I thought I could do this, but I'm terrified of getting hurt again." "Come here," Daniel said gently, opening his arms. Maya hesitated, then let him hold her. It wasn't romantic or passionate, just comforting. He stroked her hair softly while she cried, not saying anything, just being present. It was exactly what she needed. "I spent 3 years in a marriage where I constantly felt rejected," Maya said through her tears, "where I was made to feel like wanting closeness or affection was somehow wrong. And now when I finally meet someone who makes me feel alive again, I panic. How messed up is that?" "It's not messed up," Daniel said firmly. "It's human. You're protecting yourself and there's nothing wrong with that." They stayed like that for a while, Maya's breathing gradually slowing as she calmed down. When she finally pulled back to look at him, she saw no judgment in his eyes, no frustration or disappointment. "Just patience and care. You know what's crazy?" Maya said, wiping her eyes. "Looking at you right now, seeing how you're handling this, I realize that this is what I've been missing. Someone who actually respects my boundaries. Someone who doesn't make me feel broken for having feelings." Daniel cupped her face gently. "You're not broken, Maya, you're healing. And that takes time." In that moment, something shifted inside Maya. All this time, she'd been so afraid of being vulnerable, of letting someone in, because she thought it would lead to more pain. But looking at Daniel, she realized that true vulnerability wasn't about being reckless with her heart. It was about choosing to trust someone worthy of that trust. "I don't want you to stop," Maya whispered. "I changed my mind. Are you sure?" Daniel asked carefully. "We can wait." "I'm not going anywhere." "I'm sure," Maya said, and she meant it. "I'm tired of letting fear make my decisions. I'm tired of protecting myself from happiness." Daniel smiled softly and kissed her again, this time with a tenderness that made Maya's heart ache in the best way. There was no rush, no pressure. Just two people who'd been through their own pain, finding comfort and connection in each other. As things progressed, Maya felt herself letting go of all the walls she'd built. When Daniel slowly removed her shirt, she didn't feel exposed or vulnerable in a scary way. She felt seen and accepted, every scar and imperfection welcomed. This wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual even. They were both shedding layers of grief and hurt, allowing themselves to feel fully again. They made love slowly, taking time to explore and connect, pausing to laugh when things got awkward, crying when emotions overwhelmed them. It was messy and real and beautiful in a way Maya had never experienced before. Afterwards, they lay tangled together, the city lights twinkling through the windows. Maya felt different, like something fundamental had shifted inside her. She'd been so focused on protecting herself that she'd forgotten what it felt like to truly live. "Thank you," she whispered into the darkness. "For what?" Daniel asked, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on her arm. "For being patient, for seeing me, for reminding me that not everyone is going to hurt me. Daniel kissed her forehead. Thank you for trusting me. I know that wasn't easy. They fell asleep wrapped in each other, both feeling a sense of peace they hadn't known in years. For the first time in a long time, Maya didn't have nightmares about her past. She dreamed about possibility. When morning came, sunlight streamed through the windows, waking Maya gently. For a moment she forgot where she was. Then memories of the night before flooded back. She turned to find Daniel already awake, watching her with a soft smile. Hi, he said. Hi, Maya replied, suddenly feeling shy. How are you feeling? Maya thought about it honestly. Good, really good actually. And also slightly terrified about what this means. Daniel laughed. That's fair. I'm a little terrified too. But good terrified, you know? Yeah, Maya said, smiling. I know exactly what you mean. They made breakfast together, moving around the kitchen in comfortable silence, occasionally stealing kisses. Maya checked her phone and saw several messages from Rachel asking how the date went. She smiled and sent back a simple, I'll call you later. It went really well. But as reality set in, Maya's mind started racing. What happened now? What were they? And more importantly, what would this mean for her job? Daniel was technically a vendor for her company. They'd just crossed a line that could have serious professional consequences. What are you thinking about? Daniel asked, noticing her expression change. Work, Maya admitted. My company has strict policies about fraternization with vendors. If anyone finds out about us, I hadn't thought about that, Daniel said, his smile fading. What do we do? Maya set down her coffee cup. I don't know, but I do know that I don't want to hide this. I don't want to sneak around like we're doing something wrong. Neither do I, Daniel agreed. But I also don't want you to lose your job because of me. They sat in heavy silence, the joy of the morning dampened by reality. Maya felt frustrated. Why did choosing happiness always have to come with consequences? Why couldn't things just be simple for once? Let me think about it, Maya said finally. Maybe there's a way to handle this properly. We just need to be smart about it. Daniel nodded, though she could see the worry in his eyes. Whatever you decide, I'm with you, okay? Okay, Maya said, though she had no idea what she was going to do. Monday morning came too quickly. Maya walked into her office building with a knot in her stomach. Daniel's goodbye kiss still fresh on her mind. They'd spent the entire weekend together, and every hour had made her more certain about her feelings. But now, facing the fluorescent lights and corporate policies, reality felt harsh and unforgiving. Her colleague Jennifer noticed immediately. You look different, she said, appearing at Maya's cubicle with her morning coffee. Good different. What happened this weekend? Maya tried to play it cool. Nothing. Just relaxed, finally got some sleep. Jennifer raised an eyebrow. You're a terrible liar. Come on, spill. Before Maya could respond, her phone buzzed with a text from Daniel. Thinking about you. Have a good day at work. She couldn't help the smile that spread across her face, and Jennifer caught it. Oh my God, you met someone. Who is he? It's complicated, Maya said quietly, glancing around to make sure no one else was listening. Complicated how? Maya lowered her voice even more. He's the photographer from last week. The one who did my headshots. Jennifer's eyes widened. Maya, he's a vendor. You know the policy. I know, Maya said miserably. But Jennifer, this is different. He's different. I've never felt this way about anyone. I'm happy for you, really, Jennifer said carefully. But you need to be careful. You know how HR is about this stuff. They don't care about feelings, they care about liability. Maya nodded, knowing her friend was right. She spent the morning trying to focus on work, but her mind kept drifting. She researched the company policy, looking for loopholes or exceptions. The more she read, the more complicated things seemed. At lunch, she decided to call Daniel. Hey, I've been thinking about our situation. Me too, Daniel said. I barely slept last night worrying about this. The contract between your studio and my company is annual, right? When does it renew? In about 3 months, Daniel replied. Why? Maybe we just need to wait until then to go public, Maya suggested. Once the contract is up, there's no conflict of interest anymore. There was silence on the other end. 3 months of hiding, of pretending we're not together. I don't like it either, Maya admitted. But it might be the safest option. Safe, Daniel repeated, and she could hear the disappointment in his voice. After everything we talked about not letting fear control us, you want to play it safe? His words stung because they were true. What else am I supposed to do? I can't just throw away my career. I'm not asking you to, Daniel said quietly. I just thought. Never mind. You're right. We should be practical. They ended the call on an awkward note, both feeling the weight of their situation. Maya felt sick to her stomach. Was she making the right choice? Or was she letting fear win again? That afternoon, Maya's manager called an unexpected meeting. Her heart sank as she walked into the conference room, convinced somehow they'd already found out. But it wasn't about Daniel. It was about the new marketing campaign that needed her immediate attention. Still, the close call rattled her. What if someone had seen them together over the weekend? What if word got back to HR? The anxiety was exhausting. Over the next few days, Maya and Daniel tried to maintain their relationship in secret. They texted constantly, met at out-of-the-way restaurants, were careful about where they were seen together. But it felt wrong, sneaking around like they were having an affair. I hate this, Maya said one evening as they sat in Daniel's apartment. I hate feeling like what we have is something to be ashamed of. Then don't hide it, Daniel said. Be honest with your company. Tell them the truth. And risk everything? Maya asked. What are you really risking? Daniel challenged gently. A job? Or a chance at real happiness? Before Maya could answer, her phone rang. It was her boss. Maya, I need you to come in early tomorrow. HR wants to speak with you. Her blood ran cold. About what? They didn't say. Just be there at 8. Maya hung up, her hands shaking. This is it. Someone must have said something. That night she barely slept. By morning, she'd run through 100 scenarios in her head, none of them good. She dressed in her most professional outfit, armor for the battle ahead. In the HR office, 2 representatives sat across from her with neutral expressions. Maya, we've received information that you may be in a personal relationship with one of our contracted vendors. Is this true? Maya took a deep breath. This was the moment. She could lie, try to protect herself. Or she could be honest and face whatever came next. Yes, she said clearly. It's true. I've been seeing Daniel Chen. But our relationship started after the professional contract was completed. There was no conflict of interest during the actual photo shoot. That's not quite how our policy works, one of the HR representatives said. Any ongoing professional relationship creates a potential conflict. So what are you saying? Maya asked, though she already knew. We'll need to terminate the contract with his studio, and you'll need to recuse yourself from any future vendor selection processes. If you can't agree to these terms, we'll have to consider further disciplinary action. Maya felt her world tilting. They were going to fire Daniel, take away his contract, all because of her. She thought about his small studio, how much he'd worked to build it, the other photographers who depended on those contracts. No, Maya heard herself say. I'm sorry? The HR representative looked confused. No, Maya repeated more firmly this time. I won't let you punish him for my choices. If there's going to be consequences, they should be mine. Maya, think carefully about what you're saying. But for the first time in a long time, Maya wasn't thinking carefully. She was feeling, and what she felt was absolutely certain. I resign, she said. The room went silent. The HR representative stared at Maya in shock. You're resigning? Maya, you don't have to make this decision right now. Take some time to think about it. But Maya felt clearer than she had in months, maybe years. I don't need time. I've actually been thinking about this for a while now. This job, this company, it's not where I'm meant to be anymore. And I'm not going to let you punish someone I care about for my decisions. If you resign, you understand you're forfeiting certain benefits and severance options, one of them warned. I understand, Maya said calmly. I'll submit my formal resignation today. I can work through the end of the week to transition my projects. She walked out of that office feeling strangely light, like she'd just set down a heavy weight she didn't realize she'd been carrying. As she headed back to her desk to start packing, Jennifer rushed over. What happened? Are you okay? I quit, Maya said simply. You what? Maya, are you crazy? Maybe she was. But for the first time in her life, Maya felt like she was making a choice based on what she actually wanted, not what she was afraid of losing. She called Daniel immediately. Maya, what happened? Did they find out? Yes, and I quit. There was a long pause. You did what? I quit my job. They wanted to terminate your contract, and I wasn't going to let that happen. So I resigned. Maya, no. You can't throw away your career for me. We barely know each other. What if this doesn't work out? What if— Stop, Maya interrupted. I didn't do this just for you. I did it for me. I've been unhappy in that job for years. Going through the motions, telling myself it's what I'm supposed to do. This was just the push I needed to finally choose something different. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Are you sure about this? More sure than I've been about anything in a long time, Maya said honestly. I'm terrified, but I'm sure. Where are you right now? Still at the office, packing my desk. I'm coming to get you. 20 minutes later, Daniel walked into her office building. Maya saw him through the glass doors and felt her heart swell. He didn't care that people might see, didn't care about appearances. He walked straight to her desk and pulled her into a hug. You're amazing, you know that? He whispered into her hair. I'm unemployed, Maya laughed, feeling tears on her cheeks. I'm broke and jobless and probably making the biggest mistake of my life. Or the best decision, Daniel said, pulling back to look at her. What do you want to do now? Maya thought about it. For years, she'd been making choices based on what she should do, what was practical, what was safe. But what did she actually want? I want to start my own business, she said, surprising herself. I'm good at marketing, really good. But I hate doing it for companies that don't care about their message. I want to help small businesses, artists, people who actually have something meaningful to say. Daniel's face lit up. That's perfect. And I know at least one photographer who could use some serious marketing help. They laughed, and Maya felt hope flooding through her. Maybe this wasn't a mistake. Maybe this was exactly what she needed. The next few months were hard but exhilarating. Maya started her consulting business from Daniel's apartment, taking on small clients, building her reputation. Money was tight and there were moments of doubt, but she'd never felt more alive. Daniel's photography business grew with Maya's help. She redesigned his website, managed his social media, and helped him book bigger clients. They were a team in every sense of the word, supporting each other's dreams while building something together. One Sunday morning, 6 months after Maya quit her job, they were sitting in their favorite coffee shop reviewing the week's schedule. Maya looked up from her laptop and realized how much had changed. You know what's funny? She said. 6 months ago, I thought my life was falling apart. And now I can't imagine being anywhere else. Daniel reached across the table and took her hand. I'm glad you took the risk. Me too, Maya said. Even when it's hard, even when we're eating ramen for the 3rd night in a row because money's tight, I don't regret it. Not for a second. Speaking of risks, Daniel said, looking suddenly nervous. There's something I've been wanting to ask you. Maya felt her heart speed up. What? Move in with me. Officially, I mean. Not just because it's convenient, but because I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to build a life together. Maya felt tears pricking her eyes. Yes, absolutely yes. They sealed it with a kiss right there in the coffee shop, not caring who saw. Later that day, they went to their favorite spot in the city, a quiet park bench overlooking the river where they'd had one of their first real conversations about taking chances. Remember when we sat here months ago, Daniel said, and you told me you were afraid of getting hurt? I remember, Maya said. I was so scared of letting anyone close. What changed? Maya thought about it carefully. I realized that protecting myself from pain was also protecting myself from joy. I was so busy trying not to get hurt that I forgot how to actually live. You taught me that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. You taught me something too, Daniel said softly. After losing my wife, I thought I could never feel that kind of connection again. I was just going through the motions, existing but not really living. You reminded me what it feels like to hope for the future. They sat there watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink, feeling grateful for the unexpected path that brought them together. Maya thought about the woman she'd been 6 months ago, running late to a photo shoot, exhausted and disconnected from her own life. That woman had been so afraid of taking risks, so convinced that safety was the same as happiness. But real happiness, Maya now understood, required courage. It required choosing possibility over protection, even when the outcome was uncertain. What are you thinking about? Daniel asked. I'm thinking about that moment when I whispered, please stop, and you actually listened. That changed everything for me. You showed me what respect looks like, what real care feels like, and that's when I knew I could trust you with my heart. Daniel kissed her forehead. I'm glad you decided to trust again. I'm glad we both did. As the last rays of sunlight faded, they stood up to head home, their home now. Maya felt a deep sense of contentment she'd never experienced before. The future was still uncertain. There would be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them. Because she'd learned the most important lesson of all. The biggest risk isn't opening your heart, it's keeping it closed. Walking hand in hand through the park, Maya whispered, "Thank you." "For what?" Daniel asked. "For waiting for me to be ready. For showing me that love doesn't have to hurt. For being patient while I figured out how to stop stopping myself." Daniel smiled and pulled her close. "Thank you for taking the leap. For choosing us even when it was scary." And in that moment, Maya knew she'd made the right choice. Not because everything was perfect, but because she'd finally learned to stop letting fear make her decisions. She'd chosen love, chosen possibility, chosen herself. And that made all the difference.